This show is sponsored by Hivemind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the Hivemind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings and, of course, to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
Hey, we're here today with Alicia, who is an overseas investor. We're just going to cover that today, but she's a land investor just like all of us, and we love working with land people. So, Alicia, can you give us like a brief description of like how you end up land investing, and especially most of all, how'd you end up land investing in the U.S.?
I know, right? From the other side of the world. Pretty crazy. But thanks, guys, for having me on. I really appreciate being here. A little bit of an intro. So I'll try and keep this as high level as possible, but this can probably branch off into some other questions. So here in Australia, it's a very different real estate market as compared to what it is in the States. So even just point of entry to market, what you can do with strategies, how you can reach out to people, very different. So my partner Matt and I, we first started looking at investing in real estate in the US just over 5 years ago. And we started with some houses. We did some fix and flips and got into some houses. We had some rental properties and it was awesome. We loved it. And we loved it for a number of reasons, but pretty much the opposite of what I just described with Australia. But then about a year or so in, guys, houses was getting very popular and very competitive. No thanks to the channel HGTV, because everyone wanted to get into buying houses and flipping houses. And we started to really question, well, what's the best asset class for us to get into that's going to be maybe not as competitive, but maybe also a little bit easier. And so about 4 years ago now, we got into land. And so since then, we've been investing in land, so buy and hold. We've got notes on land, seller financing. We've got some land that we're subdividing, and we've got land that we just literally wholesale and find the right end user and buyer and keep on going. So, 4 years on, we've now got 4 businesses in the US, and we've got a land business, we've got a data business, we've got charged offers real estate marketing business, and we're about to launch another business, but I'll keep that secret squirrel for next time. So yeah, it's been super exciting for us, and the journey's been a wild ride, but we're loving it.
Let me ask you, because I have worked with overseas investors, and it seems like it's been a lot of like pulling teeth to even get started. So how do you find your way into another country to start doing marketing and flipping and that kind of stuff? Like that seems like a big if I had to start investing somewhere else, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So
yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because it sounds like it's a huge hurdle to overcome, but it actually wasn't that difficult, guys. I think sometimes people make things more difficult than what they really need to be. So these days, you can do business from anywhere in the world. I think one thing that COVID, there's lots of unfortunate stuff with COVID, but one of the silver linings is that the ability to do business virtually has gone from here to here. So there's so many more services and things out there. But rewind 5 years ago, we did find it challenging, but it wasn't insurmountable. So we got the right attorney to help us with our corporate structure and setting up our right corporation and LLCs. The thing with that was super important is we already had a strategy in mind of what we wanted our business to look like. So start with a strategy, find someone that can help you with structure. There's loads of people that can do that these days. And I can give you guys a link to somebody that we now use to help us out with that. Second to that was opening a bank account. That's probably the most challenging thing out of all of it, was trying to get a bank account. Now, 5 years ago, due to this whole international money laundering and a whole range of other reasons, we had to open it in person, which meant we had to get on a plane and come on over. But that was also at the stage that we were doing lots of houses and fix and flips. And so we were spending like half of our year in the States anyway. These days, you can open up bank accounts, virtually and do that all really easily. I'll actually get you guys a quick link that I want you to add in here for people. Actually, at the end of the call, I'll get that and put that in. But yeah, it really wasn't that difficult. The only real difference between you guys being US citizens and doing this business and me is the fact that you have a social security number and I don't. And so we are classed as what's called aliens. That's what the US likes to call us. We're aliens.
Friendly?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like we're not green with tentacles and stuff. We're still humans, but we're classed as alien investors. And so when it comes to things like getting loans or getting a mobile notary where you need your proof of identification, all of them want a social security number. And that's the only thing that really gets in the way. But again, there's ways around that, right? You can allocate other resources to do those things for you and delegate. That's the word, delegate.
Yeah. Do you feel like, is it taxed differently, right, from being a foreign investor? Like, I imagine they give you some kind of like tax penalty or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that. So between the US and Australia, there's what's called a tax treaty, which means that whatever business in both countries that you're doing business in, they kind of mesh it together so that you're not being double taxed in each location. And that's one of the benefits of doing some things I'm just getting that link for you guys, for anyone listening. I'm just going to give you guys another link here. There we go. That's just for people that want to set up companies, bank accounts, everything. If they're in another country and they need to do business in the US and they need an LLC, bank account, corporation, all that set up, I've just popped a link in there for a service that helps them out with that. And it's incredible. So pop that in there too. But going back to the taxation, it's not as difficult as, again, it's anything is solved when you've got the right people. So we found a fantastic tax accountant in the US that understood international taxation and also understood like what's our strategy and how do we report in the US versus what we need to report over here? And really, guys, it's actually not that difficult.
It seems like pulling teeth, just trying to get an accountant that just understands the business, first of all. But then, from somewhere completely different, it seems like two major hurdles and challenges. And you're just like, it's fine. It was easy.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad. As long as you know what you need and you know what the outcome needs to look like, then it's just about getting on the phone and finding the right person. And we were lucky to find the right accountant. I'll put a plug in here for Harding Bell and Associates. They're based in Florida. They've been with us from day one and they know how to treat all of our transactions and our business, and super, super helpful. And I'm one of these people as well that I don't get caught up in the details of all that stuff. I'm like, find the right person, get them to do the job, and I'll pay them for it. I want to focus on what's making me money, not about all the other stuff.
Yeah, we're kind of the same way. Like, let's just hire everything out and let the professionals do what they do.
Right?
So if we can back up just a bit, what did you do before the land business? I thought you said 4 years you've been in it?
Yeah, 5 years in total, 4 years in land.
Amazing. Okay, yeah. See, I thought you had a lot. You've been doing it a lot longer because I kept seeing your name pop up. So that's why we wanted to get you on the podcast. What were you doing before this, and how did you segue off into real estate?
It's so funny. So it feels like it's been more like 8 years than 4. So it's gone so fast. We were doing stuff completely differently, guys. So prior to doing real estate in the US, I had my own consulting practice where I was doing a lot of leadership training, team effectiveness, going into corporations and actually helping people to be better at their jobs and communicate better and be better leaders and all of this stuff. And I was doing executive coaching. So I had that for more than a decade and I loved it. But I was always exchanging my time for money. So in terms of a scalable model, it didn't really work. My partner, Matt, he's my tech guru. So he was in IT transformation on like global scales and things like automation. So that's been amazing for us in our growth because he so gets how to work with data and numbers and all that kind of geeky stuff. So we were both like, he was, full-time employed in all these different fabulous contracts that he was working around the world on. I was full-time in my own business, but we both had some investment properties here in Australia. And whilst they were great, the strategy, and you guys are going to like go, what? When I'm about to tell you this, the investment strategy that most people here in Australia use is what's called negative gearing. And what that is you buy a property and you put a tenant in it, but the property costs you more than what your tenants are paying. And that is across the board in Australia, unless you've had a property for a very long time. But the cost of a property and the cost of rent, it should be this, but it's actually this.
Wow.
So what that means is that most people that invest in real estate are higher earning people, and they use that as a strategy to offset their taxes. So they say, I'm going to spend money every year to keep my tenants happy and keep my properties going. And interest rates are obviously against you in that as well. And then when it comes to tax time, if I've paid an extra $50,000 to keep my property going, well, I can offset that with my taxes and therefore not pay as much in tax. So negative gearing is what it's called. It's crazy because it doesn't actually give you cash flow. It just offsets one thing to another. And it doesn't really give you growth over time unless you're really in it for the long haul. And we had that. We had a few houses and we were like, are these really working for us? And the answer was like, no.
Wow.
So that's when we started to look elsewhere, and we came across how it actually happened. I was actually I was at a kind of like a speakathon thing here that it was like a 2-day growth summit where you go along and hear all these different speakers from all around the world. And at this particular one, Tony Robbins was coming along to speak, who I love. I've done all his programs. I think Richard Branson was making an appearance. So they were the big headlines, but then there was all these other people from all around the world that just had like an hour on stage to talk about their businesses, do a little bit of selling from the stage, and then, you could go along and sign up to do things. I signed up from somebody that was on the stage talking about doing real estate in the US. And I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. But more than anything, what this person, and I can't even remember their name, it was so long ago, but what they were talking about was going in, if you can think back to 5 years ago, post the housing bubble, they were going into markets and buying up houses cheap and doing the fix and flip. But more than that, they were helping out the communities where banks had just gone, not my problem. And people were really struggling. So I thought, this is a business with a heart, but also it's a business that sounds really exciting. So I signed us up and I came home that night and I said to my partner, Matt, we're going to do a course on US real estate. He's like, well, what? And so, a couple of weeks later, we went into this course and he said, look, I don't know what you've signed us up for, but I'm going to go along. It was like a 3-day course at that point. And if we get to like lunch on day one and I think this is a load of crap, I'm out of there. So he's like my healthy skeptic. And we get to lunch and I said, what do you think? He's like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. Like, we can't do any of this stuff in Australia. So let's go for it. And here we are.
Wow, that's amazing. Just even hearing that, we're so spoiled here, right? So
you really are, guys. Yeah. For anyone listening going, oh, it's so difficult in the US to do real estate. No, it's not.
I was thinking about that right now. So somebody in your shoes, I think just being resourceful, making up your mind about something and just getting it done, because we were obviously, Daniel and myself work with a lot of people, a lot of amazing people, right? So I don't want to say anything bad about anybody, but we do hear a lot of excuses, a lot of people that have these mental blocks and they have these imaginary excuses why they can't get it done. So when I heard about you, I'm like, what's going on over here, Well
said, Anthony. Nothing in this world can't be overcome as long as you got the right mindset to go, hey, if I can't solve this myself, then maybe I just need to find someone who can. And for people that go, I couldn't possibly do real estate in another state, let alone another country. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm inspired right now because I just started marketing. I've been doing Texas for only 3 years, and we just started marketing, I would say, in the last 10 days all over the country, So I'm going out of my comfort zone, but, compared to what you're doing, I'm like, okay, never mind.
But go you. Good on you for getting out of your comfort zone. That's what it's all about, right? That's where we grow. We don't grow when we're comfortable. We grow when we're uncomfortable.
Amen to that. Heck yeah.
So we hear a lot about investors overseas. So how can us as investors work with overseas people as well? Because there's a lot of money overseas from China and Australia that are investing in the US. How can we work with or find people that are investing in the US or looking to the US?
When you say investing, are you meaning, Daniel, that they're looking to do what we do, or they're looking to make their money work for them? So just define that for me.
Both sides, because I think we have, like me and Anthony, we know people from Australia that want to invest passively, and then there's people like you that want to invest directly.
Yeah. So let me go with the passive first of all. So we've had people invest with us, and one of the things that we've actually done is some friends and family were like, "Can you guys make my money grow for me?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, we can do that." So we set them up with a promissory note. They gave us some cash. we used that cash to actually fund some marketing campaigns. And what we did is we tagged the properties that came through from those campaigns as their properties. And then we gave them a certain amount back on the promissory note for the marketing, and then a certain amount back on those properties once they were sold. And that worked brilliantly. So they didn't have to do anything except give us their cash. We ran some marketing campaigns. They got a return on investment on that. We also got more properties under contract as a result. So you've really got to look at things like a win-win. And so just setting people up on a promissory note to say, I'm going to give you cash if you do this, and then that's how you're going to get paid back. Easy. So we've done that quite a few times. We've also had some other overseas investors that when we've done a seller finance deal, if the numbers have worked out right, we've actually put them as a first position on the property. And they've been the ones that have funded the promissory note, not the promissory note. They've been the ones that have funded the seller finance deal. And let's just say that they've funded the A to B purchase side for us. So we might set that up on a note for a year where we're paying them back every month, and then we pay them the lump sum at the end. But in the background, on our B2C side, our buyer is paying us every month their seller finance. And if I can give you some simple numbers here, one deal seller finance person is paying us like $590 a month for their note for the seller finance. The 1 year that we've got set up on the A to B side where someone's funded the initial purchase, it's costing us like $200 a month to pay back that note. The difference is cash in our hand. So, there's lots of different ways that you can make money work for you from an overseas investor perspective. You just got to set it up right. And it's, again, not that hard.
We'll talk to the right people,
I love how everything's easy in your world.
I think that's a mindset thing though as well, right? It's I'm not saying everything's easy, but as soon as a problem happens, I guess the mindset that we have in our business and our team and all of our team members is, okay, guys, let's look at this as an opportunity to implement something to overcome this, or let's just find a way through, right? Nothing's insurmountable, guys.
Yeah, I feel like that all the time too. No matter what we come up against, I'm like, I'm going to find a way. Like, not getting it done is not an answer. So I know I can get it done. So it could be fairly easy, right? With a little bit of craftiness and a little bit of effort. I kind of
correct. And you might not get it done right. It might not work out perfect. But then again, that's an opportunity to learn.
100%.
Yeah, I think I had analysis paralysis when I first started business, especially in marketing. And I just wanted to learn. And I felt like it was never going to be perfect. And then now where I am, I'm just like, ready, fire, aim, right? So now when we say we're going to start something, let's set it up, let's get it going, and then we'll adjust as we go. So
yeah, absolutely. Hey, can I share with you guys a very quick story about that? So when we first started, we were the same. We did a little bit of paralysis of analysis for a couple of weeks on, where do we want to mail to? And let's just get started. This is when we were doing land, by the way, when we switched into land. And so we said, right, let's just get some mail out and just get it going. And we got a letter ready. We got our data ready. This is way before we knew all the stuff that we know now, and got it printed. Then we sat back and waited and we waited and we waited. And then finally we get this phone call from this woman. I won't mention her name, but she called us and she's like, have you guys stolen my identity? And we're like, no, what are you talking about? She said, I'm getting all these crazy people calling me about land and I do not know what this is. And I've been struggling to find who are you guys and what's this going on? Turns out we had one number wrong in the phone number. We literally got a digit wrong. And so attention to detail is really critical. How we turned that around, so, epic fail. We just spoke with her and we're like, first of all, we are so sorry. We cannot apologize enough for putting this on you. Oh my goodness. Turns out she worked in sales. And so we said, look, why don't we strike up a deal? If you can take these, we will get the phone number changed, but if you can just take these calls for us and just get their details and just email me a list of people every day, we'll strike you in on the deals. And she was like, okay. So that's how we turned that one around. So, sometimes that ready, aim, fire, unless you double check everything, it can kind of come back and bite you. But we turned that one around.
Oh man, that's an amazing story. Yeah. We do kind of similar where we will take our sellers, property sellers. Sometimes they become lenders, right? And so we kind of everybody's a resource. Even buyers are calling about properties. Yeah, we'll put them on a database and we're teaching them about land and investing and wholesaling. So they become part of the community. Some of our property sellers have become part of the Hivemind community. So yeah, we're just tagging everybody, kind of the same thing.
Love it.
So do you have a primary strategy for land? It sounds like you're doing everything. You're doing wholesaling, owner-seller finance notes, everything like that.
Yeah, we don't. In the past, we haven't really had a primary strategy. We've just kind of let the deals come in, and then each deal we've gone, okay, well, what's the exit strategy for that one, and how do we craft that to really fulfill that exit strategy? This year, we are being a bit more targeted in our strategy. We're going after more larger lots that we can do some forced appreciation, that we can work with some partners on subdivisions and plans, because we really got excited about that. So that's going to be our main strategy for this year that we're putting into play. Doesn't mean we'll stop doing the other stuff too. The other stuff will still keep ticking over. But from a land perspective, that's where we're going to focus for this year.
Beautiful. I think a lot of, I don't even know what to call them. I would say just the recognizable people in the land game. I won't use any other words, but yeah, we're finishing up our first subdivision, but I felt like a lot of us are starting to lean in that direction, is going after these larger tracts of land. So maybe land investing 1.0 was like infill lots and that kind of stuff, and like dirt lots in the middle of nowhere. And now a lot of us are leaning towards those larger properties, right? To kind of the same business, it's just on a grander scale, a little bit longer timeline, but a lot more rewarding.
Correct, right? And I think sometimes when you're so right, you know, people starting out in infill lots or smaller parcels and things like that, it's mainly because at that stage when you haven't done enough deals, the big numbers can be kind of scary, right? When there's a few extra zeros on the ad, it's like, oh, but the big numbers don't scare us anymore. And for us, it's like, it's just a number. Like a deal is a deal, right? If you change your mindset into it's just a number, if you can make the deal happen, awesome. So I think those bigger numbers in terms of the property sizes, but also in terms of, you know, finances as well. But yeah, we're going to go for it too. So maybe we need to collaborate a bit more on what you guys have done with your subdivision and see how that landed for you.
No, yeah, I would love to work with you on a deal for sure, 100%. I'm the one that had the dumb luck going into real estate, because I thought I was going to be a house flipper, but actually one of my first land deals I ever did was 46 acres. So yeah,
wow.
And I was too new to know that was difficult, so I just went ahead and did it, and I did really well. And so the rest is history. I just said, you know, I'm just going to stick to land.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I grew up doing remodeling and construction, so I know how painstaking that can be. So yeah, just finding the land business, I was like, yeah, just pure luck, I guess.
Good one. So, I love that. I love those pure luck stories, because sometimes it is a bit of luck, right?
Yeah, we like to feel like we're lucky.
So I wanted to ask, how did you find your team? Do you have like boots in the ground in all the markets you're in, or are you just doing the stuff virtually and kind of find boots in the ground once you find a deal in that area?
Both. Yeah, both. So from the very beginning, we've had boots on the ground, and the boots on the ground team hasn't changed. And I think that's mainly because we've done so much in nurturing and keeping those relationships, you know, really top of mind. So boots on the ground, we have a realtor on our team. I've got 2 title companies, a main one that we work with, and then a bit of a backup as well. I've got a really great probate attorney that we work with, as well as a real estate attorney. Those groups of people have helped us out since day one, and they're still, they're still with us today, which is wonderful. And we adore and appreciate every single one of them. Secondary to that, though, so in the background of our land business, so the land business itself, we've now got 3 full-time customer service people that take all of our seller calls, all of our buyer calls. I've trained them up to pretty much run everything from the whole acquisition to disposition and everything in between. So they now do all of our due diligence, our ad copy, they post my ads, they pretty much do everything. And I really can't tell you guys the last time I actually spoke with a seller or a buyer. My team kind of does it all now. Moving forward, though, with this new strategy this year, I do know I will be on the phone a lot more, speaking with sellers and particularly sellers on the acquisition side of a lot of those bigger properties, especially if we might JV with some of those sellers as well. But most of our team, you know, they've been with us for more than 2 years, our team, and they're really well trained and they know how to do a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's been an easy business to run, which is great.
Amazing. I have a question. You said that you have a community. What's the community called? Where can we find you?
So the community, the Land Investing Motivation Mastermind is what it's called. So you guys have just put the link up there. So myself and another land investor, Jason Woolbrink, he's based in South America. We started that probably about 18 months ago, I'd say, somewhere around there. And we're like, you know, we just want to give back and see how we can help people be more successful. Hence why it's called the Land Investing Motivation Mastermind, because it's not a mastermind where those that are going big are already there, right? It's that whole, as you said before, Anthony, people that are in paralysis of analysis, that are really struggling with that first deal or struggling with a couple of things. How do we keep that motivation high, and how do we look at the group as a collective problem solver? So that group's now got more than 1,000 members. We meet once a month and do like a mastermind where we work through problems together. But we also use it as a place to really celebrate successes as well, because I think it's important to, boost each other when you need to as well.
Well, congrats on 1,000 members. That's amazing. I imagine at some point in the future we'll rewatch this and be like, oh, now there's 10,000. So
yeah,
congrats on that. But how did you go about building a community? Like that's pretty significant.
It kind of happened almost. Again, it kind of happened on its own. So Jason and I, you'll laugh at this now. When we first started, we're like, it'd be great to get like 50 people. Just, within our network, we'll just get 50 and we'll just use it as a chance to collaborate together. And just bit by bit, people, we haven't promoted it in any way. But I guess, just through our networks and our channels and through the people in the group itself, those people in the group have naturally gone, hey, you need to come to this group and have a chat with this person. And it's just organically grown into 1,000, which I think speaks volumes for the people in the group and how we're running it, right? Because we haven't promoted it in any way. It's just become this really nice little sub-community in the land space.
No, we love the land communities, and we love community in general, just because you get a lot of value from it that's like unforeseen. Like, yeah, so much benefit that comes from it. Just the benefit of helping other people and helping people nurture themselves, get to that next step and next level. Can you tell us what markets you're actually doing deals in, and what type of deals are you looking for?
Yeah. So for us in our business, we are only doing deals in Florida, and people might go, "What? You're only doing Florida?" The main reason, guys, is Florida is just the state that keeps on giving. We haven't had a need to go outside of Florida yet. And all of those boots on the ground people I mentioned to you are all based in Florida as well. We are going to start to explore new markets, but for now, we just haven't had the need to, which I think is a nice problem to have. In terms of the types of properties, it really just comes back to that strategy I said before. So this year, we're going after those larger lots. Now, that's not to say that we're going after 300-400 acres. They will be in our list, but we're also looking at those 2 to 5 acre lots that we can even just split in half and get some forced appreciation on it. There's opportunity to be had everywhere. So we go after vacant residential, agricultural, multi-use, commercial. We go after all of it, multifamily. Yeah, you name it. We have a look at it.
No, that's awesome. We really like Florida. We tell people, like, what's the 2 states to start doing land? I'm like, Texas and Florida. Like, those 2 states alone, you can be busy for life. So it's kind of
The only thing about Texas, though, being a non-disclosure state, for a new starter, it can be a little bit difficult to wrap your head around the numbers. But a state like Florida as well, like, you can know anything and everything. It's such an open state. We love it.
Data-oriented, data-driven state. It's funny, too, because since I've only ever done Texas, and then as I started to meet investors that are outside of Texas, they said, hey, well, how do you do it when it's non-disclosure? I'm like, I didn't even know that was a challenge. And then again, just because of ignorance, I didn't know. So we invite you to Texas whenever you're ready to start doing some deals here.
Let's go. The other thing too that I love though is that I think I mentioned to you guys, we've also got like a real estate marketing business that we have that really helps people to grow and scale and overcome that paralysis of analysis and just get started. So what I also love about that is, our customers in our supercharged office business, we get to see where they're doing deals as well. And not that we would ever piggyback off that, but it's been awesome to see them get into a new state and grow their footprint in that state. So we get to see and work with people that are doing deals all over the US. And that's super exciting because I love it when they're like, oh, I'm not sure about that state. And then we get everything set up and they start getting deals and they're like, okay, this is good. So, I always say never say no to an area until you've really tried and tested that area.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of my guys today, like in this office, started texting in a state that I will not disclose right now because he just started. And he already has, like, in, I would say, less than an hour, he already has a contract going out. In a state that I would have never picked. It would have probably been like number 50 for the states I would have picked to work in.
Yeah, right. So, we always do our research. We always check our numbers. But I say if you've got enough that gives you a bit of a gut feel to go and test that state, then go and test it. Just send out like 2,000 mailers and see what comes back. And if you get nothing, move on. If you get something, great.
That's amazing.
We have a question from one of our YouTube subscribers that says, good problems are the best problems. Do they have a limit on the type of land that they will consider acquiring? Is there an aversion to swampland, for example? Because Florida does have a lot of wetlands.
It does. Let me share with you guys a quick story. So we will look at every property because here's the thing. We are not our buyers. Our
Amen.
buyers will tell us what they will do, right? Yeah, amen to that. We just closed on one of our biggest land deals last week. It was a property that we bought 2 years ago for $10,000. We actually bought it for like 6.5, but with closing costs and a few things that ended up being about 10,000. 13 acres in the middle of Hillsborough County, like Plant City in Florida. The entire 13 acres was wetlands. There was probably just under half an acre of uplands that were good. But when I say wetlands, you could walk on it and it was fine. It did have some pockets on it that were actual like still water that was there, but it was zoned vacant residential with an already approval for future use of commercial. It was surrounded by multi-million-dollar properties and complexes and shopping centers. It was in the middle of everything. And so we were like, okay, we can see, when you do your research, guys, we can see that other people in that area had already mitigated wetlands and made use of it. So it's like the history and the precedent is there. So let's work with that. So we bought it. 2 years we worked on that property, 2 years. And we sold it last week for $199,997.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
So it's just about finding the right person, because we did surveys, we got wetlands reports, we got delineation reports, we got all that stuff done so that when it came, and we had a realtor on our team working that deal as well. So when it came to having the right conversations about exit strategies on that property, we had all the information. And I think that's important, right? Never say no to an opportunity until you've really explored it and it's like, okay, dead deal, fine. But that was one that we did the research and we said, we know that there's precedent here. We know that something can be done, so let's go for it. And 6 figures later, we're pretty happy with that one.
Amazing. What a great deal. Yeah,
and I think in Florida too, there's good problems and there's bad problems. A good problem is where you've got a property in an area that people are buying properties, and we've had people buy wetlands and swamps. People have bought swamps so that they can go out and do their own recreational stuff and go and get dirty in the mud with a 4-wheeler and do some fishing, or I don't know, put their hydroplane boat on it. There's loads of different things that people use land for. So always, we are not our buyer.
Yeah, we see that a lot in Texas as well. Like there, people are have floodland and all that, and I think people think of floodland in terms of like infill lots again. So like if it's in the neighborhood and it's like a little waterway, you can't build a house there. People throw that lead in the garbage. But in Texas, right, if you have 50 acres of floodland, there's plenty bow hunting. You go out there and shoot guns and do Texas stuff.
Even if it is an infill lot that's in a floodplain, do your research. If it's specific types of floodplains, as long as you meet certain criteria, you can still build on those, guys. It's just, don't look at it and go, floodplain. It's like, okay, well, what type of floodplain is it? Has anybody else built on it? Is it a 100-year floodplain? Do some research. What's the insurance that a builder or an owner would need to have on that property in order to make use of it? Do that research. Do that insurance. There's deals everywhere that other people will say no to, that if you said yes to, might end up being an awesome deal and might end up with a buyer that's like, fabulous, I've been looking for that. Let's go for it.
Maybe the deal of a lifetime. So on this patch in this middle of this multi-million-dollar development area, who was the end buyer for that? What use case did they want it for?
Yeah, the end buyer is somebody that does do development in the area. So we're going to be watching it really closely to see what they do. But they understood how to mitigate wetlands. They understood what it meant to fill a wetland slot and make it usable. They've done that before. So they're looking at doing some development on the property. They've already got their plans in place. Part of our closing process was them submitting part of those plans to county to get pre-approval. And yeah, we're really excited to see what they're going to be doing with it.
That's really amazing. I drive by properties that people have bought from me to see what they're doing with them. And I saw this guy, he built up a 2-story house there, and the property's looking beautiful. Put up a nice gate, meadow around it. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to visit the properties and see what's going on there.
Yeah, I think that's the only downfall with being over here, right? Unless Google Earth goes and does a drive-by for me, I really can't see what people are doing with it.
Okay, all right. I like where this conversation is headed. We do have some people that are in Florida that are doing land there, and I have heard of that. I've heard of the turtles and all that stuff that I'm kind of unfamiliar with, but Yeah, good to know
Yeah,
that.
there's some protected turtles, there's some protected birds as well. So again, if you're going to buy and hold a property, do all that research, get your EPC report done, get all that stuff done if the numbers add up, because if there is stuff like that on it, you want to know that and let those deals go, because the last thing we want is to upset wildlife, but it costs a lot to pick up a turtle nest and put it in another location.
I can imagine,
Be on the lookout for those things. The bird, by the way, if anyone is doing Florida, it's called a scrub jay. Tiny little bird, but very protected. They can mess up your whole deal, just a tiny little bird.
So I've heard of those, but I've never come across it. So I'm like, scrub jay. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Scrub jay, yeah.
That's crazy. It's amazing to see, because like you can have the best deal in the world, but a bird could foil it.
Yeah, I know, right? A bird or a turtle.
Yeah, I never heard that until we started connecting with Florida investors. I wouldn't say there's a handful. There are probably 30 of us out there now in the Hivemind. But yeah, I just did my first deal in Florida this week, so there's a win for me. It was a little one, but yeah, we got it and sold it in less than 24 hours.
Amazing.
A lot of us have buyers out that way. So how can we get on your buyers list to kind of see if you had any inventory that we might be able to work with on?
Yeah, so people can go to forsale.landscouts.com and that will have our inventory. We've got, that problem talking with before that question about problems. We've got a good problem at the moment, but also a bad problem. We've almost run out of inventory because Florida people are literally, as you notice, it's like we get one, boom, it's gone. And the other thing as well, guys, is because we've been in Florida for so long, our buyers list or our buyers database, it's over 5,500 people. So a lot of the time now when we get a property, we actually send it out to our buyers list first and say, here's a first look before we send this out publicly. We get a lot of our properties sold without needing to advertise. So when people go to our website, they're like, you don't have many. It's like, well, we did, but our inner circle bought them. So, again, good problem to have, right?
No, that's amazing. Yeah. So I'm going to have some of the members start to reach out to you when we get stuff and
yeah,
we can send it down your buyers list so we can
absolutely. Yep. Love partnering with people on deals, and we've got even some of our supercharged offers customers that are just starting. They're like, I don't have a buyer's list yet. Can you send this out and we'll JV on it? 100%. This is, again, what I love about this community is there's always opportunities to partner with people and support each other, and everyone wins.
I don't know if it's just a land thing or what, but again, I've seen this in the land community. Maybe it's just a different mindset. I think maybe an abundance mindset. There's a finite number of houses, but it's like the land goes all directions, every which way.
Yeah, so right.
There's always more. Yeah.
Correct. We really started to notice that when we were doing houses, is this scarcity mindset that people have. It's like, I'm not going to share that with you, or I'm not going to tell you this because, that might mean that I'll miss out on the deal and you'll get it. Land, totally opposite. Everyone's like, yeah, more than enough deals to go around. Let's talk.
Yeah, I want to say almost all of my deals now are starting to become JV deals, and very rarely am I starting to do my own. So yeah,
yep,
pretty cool mindset. I love the land community. We're different. We're built different.
We are.
So what has been your most difficult challenge, as far as like maybe the most difficult deal or most difficult challenge you had to investing in real estate as far?
Yeah. Our most difficult challenge, Daniel, early on was getting our acquisitions engine always working, because when we started, it was, we'd do some marketing, we'd get some deals. It's like, great, let's go get rid of these deals and work hard to do that. And then we turn back around to the pipeline and it's empty. And so we were just finding this roller coaster ride for the first 6 months of got some deals, empty, got some deals, empty. And so our biggest challenge was getting our business consistent. And that took us like more than 6 months to have the light bulb aha moment around, we got this all wrong. We're doing this wrong. Like, we need to set up our business differently. And that's what led us to start Supercharged Offers, right? We just built out our own acquisitions engine that made sure that we were always marketing, always got mailers going out. We're always doing online marketing. We've always got our data working for us, and this engine is now running. We didn't think that would become one of our other businesses until we shared it with some of our inner circle, and they're like, can you do that for us? So that's now become another business. And so what I love about that is we're actually really helping people to overcome that exact problem that we had, which is that inconsistency of getting that flow in your business. That's probably been the biggest challenge that we've had to date, Daniel. Most of the deals, they're really not that challenging, and most things can be solved. The challenging part was getting our business running the way that we wanted it to.
Awesome. What type of, I know you mentioned you're doing direct mail. Are you doing like 100% direct mail, or are you using a marketing techniques?
Combo. So very much a combo of online and offline, because we really need to think these days, folks, that our customer, I call them customers, they're not just sellers, they're customers. We build relationships with them.
Yep.
They now come in all walks of life. They're not just older people sitting on land that they haven't done anything with, as much as that's what most people think they are. We've dealt with people in their 90s. Our youngest seller has been 19 years of age, and he was in college and he inherited a property and he's like, didn't even know it was in the family, and everything in between. We've got busy professionals in their 30s and 40s that don't have time. We've got people that live in another country that have land that they now need to get rid of. So we need to create a customer experience that our customers can do business with us in any way they choose. Direct mail, online, clicking on an ad, making an appointment with my team to talk about their land because they're busy, email, asking for offers online, anything and everything. We need to be marketing in a way that makes it easy for our customers to do business with us, not the other way around. Because people are like, no, I don't like doing online. I don't care if you don't like it. You need to do it because your customer wants to do that, right? So we do everything. We do a combo of online and offline ads, funnels. We do it all, because we need to create that space that we can capture any lead that comes through. And that's what Supercharged Offers is about, which has been amazing. So now that's really seen us grow our business exponentially in a very short space of time because we're capturing everybody that comes through.
No, that's amazing.
Do you have any products and services that you offer to people? Like if they say, do you have a course that people can sign up for if they want to learn about your methods?
Yeah, so we don't have a course. We're not an educator, even though about 10 times a week people ask me, can you coach me? Can you teach me? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have time. But what we do have is a done-for-you service, which means you don't have to do a course. So with Supercharged Offers, and I know you guys are putting up the details of how people can reach us there, it's a totally done-for-you service. We have like an entry point where we're just doing their data, their direct mail and their mail tracking. Because again, people starting out, if they've gone and done their real estate course and they're like, just need to get some mailers out, great. Let us help you get that started so that you can get that. So getting so excited here, guys. So you can get the phone ringing. And then once the phone starts ringing, that's when your training and all the stuff you did, that's when you put that into motion, right? Yeah. All the way through to like a totally done for you business in a box service where we're doing their branding, their content, their design, branding story, their page, their funnels, their Facebook business page, their social media. We're doing all of it, and their direct mail and their data and their mail management. So really, a lot of our customers look at us as their acquisitions team, and we do everything up until the point that when their phone rings or an offer comes through, they take the lead from there. So you don't need to go and do a course on how to do Google ad campaigns. You don't need to go and do a course on how to create the world's best websites, right? Like we said in the beginning, Anthony, find the experts to do it and outsource it. So we do it all. You don't need to do a course. Just come to us. We'll implement it all and you can just get your deals done.
I love that. Yeah. We actually recorded a course that we never released. It was right before Hivemind came out because we said, you know what? No better way to learn than just hands-on. Just jump in.
Do the doing.
Yeah, because what I imagined was a bunch of people buying the course and then not taking any action. And then I just looked like a snake oil salesman. So you know what? Let's get something where people can really throw their hat and get in here and just do it. And that's the best way to learn. If somebody says, hey, can you teach me some scripts? Like, nope, get me on the phone with the seller and you can listen what I say.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And the frustrating thing for me, and I get really passionate about this because there's loads of people out there that have spent fortune on real estate investing programs, coaching programs, all of these things, and they have a failure to launch. And the actual success rate, guys, I don't know if you know this, but it's less than 5% of people
I didn't know that
have done all this training ever succeed and do stuff with it. And that for me is that number's way too low. So what we do is one of our drivers and our mission for our business is to get that number higher.
That's amazing. That's a
powerful goal. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I get very, very passionate and I get attached to my people. So if somebody's not doing well, like it does hurt me, So I didn't want to be that guy. Like I said, if they bought something they can't use, they're not using, and then I've seen it before where they'll take like the last of the money they have. Like, I mean, this is money that they should have paid their rent with or something, or the car, and they throw it into 100%. The stores because they think this is the answer. And then for whatever reason, if they didn't take action, whatever the reason was, like I didn't want to contribute to that environment. Yeah. I was like, I want to win.
I'm with you.
We talk about it all the time. We're like, we're too cheap, but we're like, it's okay. we'll make it up on JV deals.
We're the same. People are like, you charge how much for your services? Like, wow, I get all that. We're like, yeah, because we just want you to get deals. Like, just do it.
We'll make it up with one JV deal. You'll have made what you can sell 50 courses worth. So yeah,
exactly.
It does come back. Yeah, and if they don't get a deal, we don't win. So and we want to see people win first so we can all get paid.
Yep, 100%.
So what is a quote that is yours or somebody else's that you resonate with?
Should have prepped me for that one, Daniel. I'm going to go with feel the fear and do it anyway. I don't know who to attribute that to. Maybe it is Tony Robbins. I don't know. But you feel the fear and do it anyway, because that first phone call I ever had to make, pit of my stomach was like, the first time we ever implemented a supercharged offers customer and we went live, it was like, So, you got to kind of lean into the stuff that you don't want to do and just do it anyway, because then before you know it, you're like, that was pretty easy.
I love that quote. If you're always in your comfort zone, right, that means that's a pretty good indicator that you're not growing, because if you push yourself to the edge of your comfort zone, obviously you're going into an environment where you've never been before. So I think I'm probably I'm just so used to doing that I'm just always in this state of like, should I do this? Should I not do it? Like, I'm going to do it.
Just do it anyway, right?
We're always
then see what works.
I don't think it works. I'm just I can never be comfortable being comfortable ever. Yeah, I gotta go.
Love it.
We're always pushing the envelope, trying to hit higher highs and also take people with us. I think that's what inspires us to hit those higher highs, so that we can take the community members with us and see other people around us grow. Super important.
Yep, 100%.
Well, this episode was super amazing. Yeah, we really, really appreciate you coming on here and hanging out with us. Yeah, this was a blessing. And I want to make sure that we connect with you anywhere and everywhere. I guess on your Facebook group. Make sure that we can come out and hang out. And like I said, let's put some JV deals together. I'm going to have the community.
I'd love that, guys. Yeah, I'd love that. I'd also
towards you, start sending you some leads, some deals.
Let's do it. And I'd love to just, let's connect again offline and talk a little bit more about your business and our business, and how we can just, again, come back to that whole philosophy of how do we just help people grow and help them just feel the fear and do it anyway. I think that'd be a great opportunity to look at how we can partner on that.
I love that. Yeah, Daniel, myself, our philosophy is that there is no competition. We can all collaborate. There's always overlap, and there's always room for us to grow together. So
love it.
Thanks again. Thanks to everybody that was on here watching with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks, everyone.
The show is sponsored by The List Guys. Do you need more leads in your local or virtual market? 1 in 10 small businesses don't invest in any kind of marketing. The List Guys have over 35 plus list types to choose from, and you can mix and match any list or criteria. We also use the skip trace list and provide up to 7 numbers and email addresses. Every list you purchase will be scrubbed against previous purchases. The List Guys are here to save you time. Contact the List Guys today at www.1listguys.com. That's www.1listguys.com.